Hello there, everybody. This is King Mac, your friendly hamburger pal. Welcome to this feature presentation on YouTube. Be sure to enjoy a hot, fresh cheeseburger along with some delicious golden French fries, a tasty milkshake, and a nice soft drink. Thank you all for watching, and now sit back and relax and enjoy as Tony here brings you our feature presentation of TTBurger game reviews.
You don't wanna fuck with me, don't wanna test your luck with me, cause if you try to fuck with me, I'll take all your body parts to a fucking graveyard 6 feet.
Welcome back, my friends. Boo, boo, boo. Back to you. You are watching TTBurger game reviews here on YouTube, and I'm your host Tony, bringing you more TTBurger Remastered game reviews. We continue the horror theme game on here, and we continue the Resident Evil series here. Episode 7 of my remastered game reviews, part 6 of 7. Before I get started here, I want to give a shout out to Free Green HD, Sub-Zero, Hammer Next for King Mac, along with Step Hyper Lamia, Brickles Go Stateside, Black Healer Meg, The Homie RJ, Paul Gaming, Red Hood Assassin, Uncle Jira, Rockstar Pool 69, Veritas PC, Veritas PC, I mean to say, and more and more and more. And before we even get started, we continue with this Resident Evil series remastered review here. Let's go to Seattle to see how our friend Jackalburger is doing and see how he's been recovering and stuff. Hey Jack, what's happening today, man? You ready for more Resident Evil games here?
I am very excited. We get to see Jill Valentine again in this game. Oh, the glory of that redhead beauty back again, shooting down them zombies with her grenade launcher and hot looks. Oh man, I cannot wait. I am so excited for this.
Dude, calm down. She's just a video game character. Why are you getting so worked up like that for a video game character? I know you're excited, but relax. Calm down. You're going a little overboard there with this, no offense.
But Tony, Jill isn't here. I cannot help but be excited for this because she's back. She's back.
Oh boy, this is gonna be a handful, isn't it? You know, maybe I shouldn't have you in this review. Maybe I should let you stay out of this year before you get over your case of Jillinitis.
Tony, no. Don't make me leave. I want to stay for this video. I'll behave. I promise. Double promise. Triple promise.
Alright, Jack, but no more of this Jill Valentine obsession stuff, okay? We need to get on track here.
Okay, Tony, I'm sorry. I promise I'll calm down. Well, let's get it started, shall we?
Jack, you know what we have to do. The recap, right? Let's get started here. Those of you missed what happened in episode 7 of my recent Master Game Reviews, part 5 of 7. Here's what you missed here, a TTBurger recap, and I took a look at Resident Evil Code Veronica X for the PlayStation 2. It was first ported on the Dreamcast and ported to the PlayStation 2 as Resident Evil Code Veronica X with some new scenes and a playable demo of Devil May Cry, and also on the GameCube and PC and more and more and more. And I gave it an 8 out of 10 because it was a great game, but there were some very frustrating elements there where you died a lot and it wasn't the ammo and healing items were very scarce. And this game was one of those where you'd be sure you knew what you're doing because this was a hard game. It was a hard game, but still was fun. It's just Resident Evil 3 Nemesis was better. And now we're gonna zoom ahead to the year 2002, back when I was still in 7th grade going in 8th grade. This was an exclusive game to the Nintendo GameCube first, but then was ported to Nintendo Wii, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PC, and the Nintendo Switch. We got Resident Evil Remake, first on the GameCube, and like I said, Nintendo Wii, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, you know what I mean? It's a part of the Resident Evil Origins collection here, as we're going to be taking a look at, so these are the final parts here, and we take a look at Resident Evil Remake HD. So look at the PlayStation 4 version here. It was first released on the game Nintendo GameCube April 13th, 2002, and then on Nintendo Wii June 23rd, 2009. Then on the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PC on January 20th, 2015, and then finally for Nintendo Switch on May 21st, 2019. When I first saw the trailer for this game on Comedy Central in year 2002 when I was watching South Park at age 13, I was blown away by how cool this game looked with the graphics and the scare factor. And I first thought this was going to be a PlayStation 2 game, and then I heard the word Resident Evil on Nintendo GameCube. And I was like, this is a Nintendo GameCube game? Wow, holy shit, this looks awesome. I had no idea this was a remake until I got to the character selection screen, saw the opening cutscene similar with lines like when I first came in, see the mansion, and realized that this is a remake of the original game, not a different game with the name of the first game. And I was like, holy cow, I'm playing a new version of the original Resident Evil. Could not wait to play it. Going back, reliving the way I felt being in the mansion for the first time, and the zombies and the blood and the fire effects and stuff, like how they upped the challenge and everything, it pushed the Nintendo GameCube to its absolute limits. The game was a part of the Capcom 5, which was the Nintendo GameCube, which meant that the games were only going to be exclusive on the GameCube. And the Capcom 5 had Beautiful Joe, Killer 7, Resident Evil the Remake, Resident Evil 0, and Resident Evil 4. And it made it exclusive for Nintendo-wise until 2013. It was on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, and stuff. Now the question I'm sure everyone is asking: do I like this game more than the original Resident Evil, released in 1986 for the PlayStation? The answer is, it is an amazing game, one of the best, with content that was not included in the original version. But I'm gonna admit this: I like the original 1996 version better because I grew up with it, and aside from the hokey voice setting and the two brightly lit backgrounds, I did not have a problem with it. But the remake is still hands down an amazing game that should not be overlooked. This game will be getting a high rating, but the rating will be slightly lower than the original version. And I know people can probably not like that, but you know, it's just my opinion there. Let's get started here. The story of Resident Evil Remake for the most part is the same as the original game's story. You play as either Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield, the stars of the Alpha team, who are searching for the helicopter of Bravo team. And they find the helicopter, nobody in it except for the body of the pilot that lit of Kevin, and they're searching for the members when they come across these zombie dogs, and Joseph Frost is killed by the zombie dogs, and Brad leaves them, and they take off into the mansion, and like whoever you play as, three members survive, which is Jill, Barry, and Wesker for Jill's story, and for Chris it's Jill, Chris, and Wesker, and that's what does it. And you go in there and you're amazed by how nice everything looks. Like you realize that you're in the mansion again, and it's very, very cool there with the same scenes, just slightly all the dialogue and stuff. And you know, that's just basically the gist of it there. And the story's the same, but they add more to like the history involving Umbrella Incorporated, and hear about Oswald Spencer, who created the mansion, and learn about Lisa Trevor, who's someone who stalks you around, and she's very traumatized and everything, and with what happened to her. And we have new rooms in the mansion, new areas to explore, like a graveyard, a cabin, the backyard of the mansion stuff, this underground area in the mansion. And those of you who mastered the original game will be in for a surprise, because you will have to think on your feet this time, because the puzzles, everything have been revamped and are more challenging, requiring you to think on your feet on what to do, because these puzzles require more than just pressing a button or a lever or whatever like that. Capcom went out of the way to make the puzzles more challenging and innovative, and they did a good job with it. But just be warned though, these are pretty challenging, some of them, and you may need to guide, but we just need to read the files you find around the mansion, or wherever you're at. Resident Evil Remake's graphics are fantastic. The character models look very detailed, and they move around realistically and animate realistically very well. Sure, like they look better on the PlayStation 4 version like that, but coming on the GameCube and stuff like that, this was considered cutting edge for its time. And the way they look like a movie, and holy cow, they look awesome. The environments are the best part of the graphics. They look very creepy and horror-like. You can see stuff going on in the background, you can see lightning going outside, fire burning, noises that keep on the edge of your feet and stuff. It feels like you are there, and there's scare elements there. But sometimes some of the environments are a little too dark, not as bad as Code Veronica and stuff. And I understand I complained about the bright lit backgrounds in the first game, but here it's starting to make them a little too dark, to where it's hard to see sometimes, especially on like if you have a GameCube, the flat screen TV is not gonna look the best. There was also an issue on the Nintendo GameCube version that was fixed here in the later versions, where when it transitioned to a new cutscene stuff, it would freeze for a second before going to the next scene. It happened every time, but this is fixed now in the re-releases. My only complaint about the graphics and stuff is that, like I mentioned, the lighting is a little too dark at times. I understand they want to make it scary and stuff, and the brighter backgrounds are a problem, but they go too far here, and it's not as bad as Code Veronica, but it's a little overboard. The door scenes are here again. This time the sounds of the doorknobs sync up with the animation and everything, and look realistic in the door scenes. And they have and every scene has different door scenes, has different lighting to match up the room you're in, and it looks very realistic for sure. And the frame rate holds up well with most of it, but there could be a little bit of slowdown there. Sometimes you'll notice there. The sound is also good, but has some issues. A lot of people said that the voice acting is miles better than the original voice acting, but this is where I know people are going to harp me about, but I prefer the original voice acting over this version's voice acting, and I'm sorry if this upsets anyone, but you have to understand, the original version holds a place in my heart. If it were not for the 1996 version of the PlayStation, we would not have this series as big as it is today. And I hope the voice acting works for 1996 standards. And I know the voice acting is really good here in this version. Just the 1996 version was different for me. The voice acting here in the remake is good, fits the serious tone of the story, but the thing about the game's voice acting I like better. That's all it is. The music we have tunes from the original non-DualShock version that sound different with like technology and to make it sound more scary, especially when you hear the second floor mansion theme, or like the vacant flat themes of that replace certain parts of the game. You'll hear similar sounds there too. The weapons all sound awesome, and the doors sound awesome too, along with the atmospheric sounds you hear, like the lightning and the fire, just like or the groans and the zombies like that. And while I wish that like there were more grunts and groans in the zombies, because this is next gen hardware at the time. But that's just me though. The gameplay is awesome. I will admit it's fun to play. That this is survival horror game being chased by zombies and more. And they up the gameplay here by making sure we get the full experience plus more. Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield have exclusive characters at this time. Like Jill has Barry, Chris has Rebecca, and stuff like that. And their stories have been tweaked a little bit from the original version, but their storylines have been altered a little bit on the remake here, and I don't really have a problem with it. I mean, of course, Jill's a little weaker, but can carry more arms than Chris, and she gets a grenade launcher and a stun battery for a defense weapon and gets the lockpick. And I'll mention the defense weapons here. You have defense weapons here where you, depending on what character you are, you get a dagger, or if you're Jill, you'll get like a stun battery or so, or if you're Chris, you get grenades that you shoot and blow up and stuff. It's pretty cool there definitely. And of course, Jill gets a lockpick, and Chris has his flamethrower, and he can only carry 6 items, but it's stronger and he keeps open desks and stuff. And Jill has her luck to open desks, but this time, like Chris, she needs the sword key, like a Chris did in the original game, and you go into rooms they never saw before and more cutscenes. And they did put a lot of care and effort to making the remake as great as the original, and they pulled it off rather well. We also get weapons like an assault shotgun, which is Richard's weapon. So Richard was the guy who was bit by the poison snake, and you pick up his weapon later in the game. It's stronger than a regular shotgun. I recommend using that one the most. And I cannot stop talking about the puzzles because they are tougher, but in a good way. But I also mentioned some of the rooms are bigger, like the guardhouse, now called the residence. The bar room with the big red doors is bigger and looks more badass. And the basement is huge. And I'll never forget how frustrating that puzzle was and stuff. Rather than simply pulling a lever, you had to try and find 1 or 3 levers to pull to prevent a breakage of water going through the room. It's really cool there. And you got it just feels bigger and badder. And I need to mention the 4 death masks in the backyard of the mansion when you go down this little tombstone. These are the keys to escape in the mansion to get this item. The mask that sees no evil, the mask that sees, smells, and speaks no evil, the mask that smells no evil, and the mask that speaks no evil. I just had to point that out there because they're called the death mask, and I just had to point that out there for sure. And after you beat the game, you can get a key to unlock the closet, new costumes, and the PlayStation 4 version has costumes from Resident Evil 5. But the problem is the costumes are already here from the beginning in this version, so it kind of makes the closet pointless, but I kind of like the door you go into. That's pretty cool. The game was amazing with new content in it. More zombies, more horror elements, and I enjoyed it, but I just like the original version a little bit better, but that's just me. It's my opinion. And if you guys like this version better, hey, I respect your opinion and stuff. That's just me. But now the negatives. The hokey voice acting from the original game was a little bit better in my opinion. Some of the puzzles, while challenging, can be a little too challenging and you can get stuck. They overdid it with the darkness in some of the rooms. Kristen still only carries 6 items, but still, it's still a great game overall. Final thoughts, if you enjoyed the original Resident Evil, the remake here was different. That's not disappointing. It's a fun game to get a chance to experience this better than ever with the updated graphics and more. I'm going to give Resident Evil Remake an 8.5 out of 10 because it had some problems and stuff. I know it's a slightly lower score than the original version, but that's just where my opinion stands there. So, Jack, what do you think of Resident Evil Remake HD?
What the heck, man? A slightly lower score than the original? What is wrong with you, dude? This game was awesome. Why? Don't you not have any respect for Jill Valentine? This game had better graphics, cool blood effects, more. How could you say that about the remake?
Well, Jack, it is my opinion. And what do you mean Jill will be upset? She's a video game character, dude. She's not even existing in the real world.
Still, man, I think this game is better. Even a bunch of others say that too, man. Why? I mean, I respect. No, you know what? No, I don't respect your opinion. Your opinion is trash. This is Jill Valentine we're talking about here. You need to put respect on her name. This is unacceptable. I am not accepting this. This is worse than someone stealing my pumpkin. I demand a revote. This is blasphemous. No. You need to go back and watch the game and play the game again. This is unacceptable. Jill Valentine did not deserve this type of disrespect. Why did you do this? Why did you do that to Jill? This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. I was planning on giving you some pumpkins for Christmas, but no more pumpkins for you. This is just, unacceptable. I'm disappointed, Tony. I'm very disappointed with you.
Dude, I just gave it an 8.5. It's still a good score. Now relax before you drive yourself insane with this Jill stuff. Just thank God the next game doesn't have Jill in it, that's for sure.
You're right. My bad. I'm sorry. But hey, we're at the grand finale. We look at the first game in the franchise where you can leave items on the ground and we have a partner system. And this is a prequel to the first game starring Rebecca Chambers and inmate Billy Cohen.
You are correct, Jack. We take a look at Resident Evil 0, the final game of this remastered series review. This is the last game with the fixed camera angles and tank controls, starring rookie stars Bravo team member Rebecca Chambers. How does this game fare? This is a prequel. You find out what happened before the first game, before the Mansion Stint, Secrets of Umbrella, and more and more. And how does it fare? Let's find out next.
Sweet Tony, I cannot wait for the finale. I must go now. Pumpkin Patch must be watched. So no pumpkins get lost. Take care, Tony.
Sounds good, Jack. Take care. And that's pretty much all I gotta say to do for the grand finale. We're gonna take a look at Resident Evil 0. That's all I gotta say. This is Tony. Peace now. Have a great day. See you all in the final part of my Resident Evil Remastered series review. Take care, everybody.
You don't wanna fuck with me. Don't wanna test your luck with me. 'Cause if you try to fuck